Hi, everyone. Welcome. You have reached Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. Thank you for joining me tonight on this very special night. I have a guest, and the guest is, I think you're going to be so intrigued, so amazed by her story of just, overcoming an obstacle or a situation that may happen in your life and still, having a positive attitude. And I'm going to bring her on. Her name is Tonya. She calls herself Burn Beauty, and you can follow her on Instagram. But I'll let her give you all of that information. So let's welcome into the building Burn Beauty. Hey.
Hey, how are
Thanks for
you?
joining me. And I'm so glad that you decided to stop by Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva to just share your story with everyone out there. But let's start out. Tell me a little something about yourself.
My real name is Tonya Meisenbach. Um, I live in Atlanta, and I can tell you all the story of how I got burned because that's what most people are interested in. Um, I will start by saying I'm a mother, I'm a wife. I was a realtor at the time, and it was a week before Christmas in 2018. And um, my husband and I were outside, and we were just by the fire pit having a good time. It's almost the holidays, having a great
Mhm.
time. But you could cook on this fire pit, so I reached in. Came inside. I had some wine. I come in to get the steak. It's getting late. We're gonna eat. And as I reach in to put the steak on the grates, um, lighter fluid catches my arm. My husband was trying to build the fire up to sear the
Okay.
steak, but we just weren't paying attention to each other, and when it caught me, I just went up like a match. I've always been very diva-ish, so I had a very long hair at the time before
Mhm.
the burn, and it caught. It actually saved my real hair because I had a weave in, and I do have hair. I just love to wear my wigs. But ultimately, I ended up on fire, and my husband put me out with his jacket. He had to smother it because of the accelerant involved. I couldn't put myself out. I stopped, I dropped, I rolled, and I wasn't going out. And it stopped hurting. I just felt heat, and that's very scary. Your nerves are gone, and I started to say the Lord's Prayer, and for some reason I stopped. And I said, God, is this really out loud? I said, it's on my stomach, God, is this really the way I'm supposed to die?
Mm.
5 years old, burning alive. Because I had accepted my fate. And then I decided just to ask. And it was the only time that I got an immediate answer from God. Because at that moment, I heard my husband say, Baby, I got you. I got
Mm.
I I got you. And I couldn't feel him putting me out because my nerve endings were gone.
Wow.
I just felt heat. I couldn't feel him touching me, putting me out. But I knew when the fire was out, when the heat stopped, I jumped up, and then I realized, maybe I'm gonna make it. I mean, God God doesn't often answer you immediately, so I don't ever expect it to happen again, but I was, absolutely amazed by it, and that's why now, you know, I try to take every day as it comes and just live the day, because
Right.
I had accepted my fate, truly. I thought, "Okay, well, this is how I died." I don't know.
Yeah.
I doubt you've ever had that thought, like how most of us don't sit and think, how am I going to die? How am I going to die? But at that moment, I just thought, okay, well, now I know how it happened. Maybe not everyone knows how it happens. Maybe you go peacefully in your sleep
Right.
or very quickly, but it was just amazing to me that I'd accepted it. And And then just that glimmer of hope when I realized I might make it.
That
You
you might make it. Yeah. Do you know how long it was between the time that you actually caught on fire and the time that your husband was able to put it out?
It felt like so long. I don't know the actual time, but I'm going to say it was probably only 2 minutes at
Wow.
maximum. I mean, you are burning. When you are on fire, you
Mm,
it is intense. It is fast. It,
wow.
I mean, when that lighter fluid, it had hit me and it had caught my hair and had a fleece jacket. And then, just like when you're starting your grill and you put the flame to your charcoals and it goes, woof,
Oh,
that's what I did.
wow.
And it was very shocking because it wasn't like I was in a burning house trying to get out, right? Like in a burning
Mm,
building trying to get out and you might get burned, right? I was just putting a stake. I was just fine, and then I wasn't.
right.
So it was very shocking, and it couldn't have been more than 2 minutes. It felt like an eternity because I really wondered at the point where I'd accepted my fate. I wondered,
Mhm.
how long does it take to for this to be done?
You'll be done.
I mean, how long does it take to burn alive? And unfortunately, it's a long time. I've learned since. I mean,
Mm,
I don't know whether that's fortunate or unfortunate because I would not want to be in a position where I had to see it through to the end. I was very, very fortunate to have him there. And, keep in mind, he was so shocked too. And I just remember when he put me out and the adrenaline kicked in and I jumped up. And it was just the look on his face. I just don't ever want to see it again. It was,
mm,
and I saw the same look when the EMTs got here. One of them was looking at me just sort of like he was like a dead man walking. You know what I mean? Because
mm, mm,
I didn't I didn't know how bad it was. I knew I was burned, but I
right.
didn't know how bad it was. And I thought my face was okay. I
Oh,
actually I actually looked at my face. I this is I remember jumping up and my husband, he's coming to get his cell phone and I'm running and I stop. We have a mirror at our back door. Um, and I stopped to look at, wanted to look at my face and it looked okay. And I didn't know, it looked red, but
right,
hey, fire, right? I didn't
right.
know that it takes a couple of days before the skin will start to, die and blister
Oh,
and and it'll just die and then they have to scrape it off. So all of my skin was removed and replaced. My burns were that deep. They were like third and fourth degree. I've heard that fourth degree term used. So that means they're really, really deep and they couldn't be left. So skin was harvested for skin grafts from my legs,
wow.
which ultimately makes it affect my whole body. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've got the burns up, the grafts up top, but then, my legs are, you see how, they're,
The scars from the
they're,
grafts of
they're
the
black,
leg.
you could, where they took the skin, the layers of skin off.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it'll
So
eventually,
it was all upper body?
my face, and then here, of course, my whole chest, and down to part of my mid chest,
Okay.
both arms. Um, I don't ever cover these. I wear makeup, but it's not to hide the scars. So
Right.
both arms, and then my back, um,
Okay.
the upper half of my back. And then, can you believe, not included in that is my scalp? I have a full head of hair under,
Wow.
just because I
Right.
had cornrows and and a weave and it burned off that weave hair. Now they did shave my head, but at least, I can grow hair. And really, I say at least, I don't think it would matter to me if
If
I
you
could.
couldn't.
I
Yes.
don't think it would matter, but it's kind of a thing. I kind of want an afro pretty bad. So always wore relaxers, so now I've got a chance.
Yes, yes, yes. So, what was it like for you? Tell us a little bit about, your hospital stay and what was it like when you first saw yourself after you learned that, the skin was going to, I guess, necrose and like die and fall off?
Well, the way that worked was after the EMTs arrived, they put me in the back and we took off. And I said to the EMT, am I going to die? Because then it occurred to me again, wait, I can still die, right? Things
Right.
are bad. I can, nothing is guaranteed. And he said no. And I said, would you tell me that? Would you say that even if you thought I was going to die? And he said, yes, yes. And then he said the next two words he said were the last words I heard for 2 months. And that was push fentanyl.
Mm,
And so went to sleep and I was put into a medically induced coma for 2 months. So I didn't get to see, fortunately, the skin turning black. And because the nurses, when you're burned, you'll have nurses come in every day and they scrape the skin off. They have to scrape that dead skin to avoid infection. You have to
wow.
remove it, remove it, remove it. And then once it's clean enough, the graft can go on. But that scraping is so painful. I heard people, after I did wake up screaming from that pain.
Mm,
And even though I was in a coma, um, I was dreaming. My mind was active. And I don't remember hearing people, but I know that every day, my biggest thing was I would become afraid at a certain time of day, and I would walk down these stairs in my mind, in the pitch black, down these
mhm.
stairs into a little square room, and I would just crouch down and hold there because there was pain on my chest.
Wow.
So I felt that scraping even in an induced coma
Mm,
with paralytics, with fentanyl, with I can't remember what else they used to keep you in the coma.
right.
I still felt that. So imagine being awake.
Mm,
So that's what part of why I was in a coma. There was a lot. I, I, I wouldn't have survived without the coma. I,
right.
I needed to sleep while they did this. Um, I didn't need to be. I couldn't have withstood that pain.
Right.
There was already enough just being in the coma. I was,
Right.
but I couldn't say anything. It was just in my mind. I knew I hurt, and that I guess I could hear the nurses come in. Right, that's the only thing I could
Mhm.
figure is that I could hear them come, and when I heard them, that's when I would know it's time to go down the stairs in the
Wow.
little room in my mind and just hide there, because this scraping is 2 or 3 hours a day, removing it.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
all the burn survivors out there, they know how painful it is and, the determination required to survive.
To
But when I
survive.
did wake up, I would not look at my face for months. I could feel it. It felt like I was wearing a mask.
Mm,
They had rebuilt my face, and the skin didn't feel like it was attached to the muscle. Do you know what I mean? It literally felt like a mask just
wow.
floating on top. And now it's totally attached and the nerves, and I have feeling, and I'm starting to be able to, like move a little
Yeah.
things. It's amazing what they do, right? But
Right.
at the time, I could feel it and I knew it was bad. And I was upset because remember, I'd looked at my face thinking, okay, I'm burned, but my face is okay.
Right.
And so when I woke up and it wasn't, I woke up in February and I wouldn't look in the mirror until mid-April. And all the nurses, everyone knew to make sure I didn't get a glimpse of myself.
Wow.
They knew, there's not to be any mirrors or anything shiny, or when they're wheeling me in the wheelchair to be careful of the glass and everything, or it would just be, yeah, I would turn my
Yeah.
just kind of,
It's amazing the healthcare workers and what they do, like the unsung heroes, right?
oh my God,
Um, to be mindful of that and understand and just be so kind and precious. That's a lot. Um,
it's amazing.
when you finally did look, how did you deal with that?
I just cried. Um, I looked by mistake.
Mm,
It took me a while to get strong enough to where I could even hold my cell phone. I was that weak.
okay.
I had the phone. My husband would lay it on my chest if he had to go out and get something to eat so he could call me. I could reach up and swipe it, but as far as holding it, too
No.
much. But when I got strong enough, and you know how your flat screen of your cell phone reflects your image. And one day, nobody was in the room, and I picked up my phone and I saw myself. And I was like, oh my, what? It was so much worse than I expected. And that's a
Mm,
hard thing to say because when you're an optimist, normally things are so much better, right? You'll tell people, oh,
mhm.
it's not as bad as you think. It was so much worse than I expected. My bottom lip was all the way down here. My mouth was open all the time. I could not close it.
Wow.
Um, I still had my nose is getting better, but you notice I don't have nostrils. My eyelids were recreated, but they were very puffy at the time because they were created from my lower abdomen where there's fat. So, but look, now you can't even tell, but it took a
Right.
week for that fat to just burn away and become, eyelids. And of course, I had no eyebrows or lashes, and my skin was very dark here, very light here, very dark here. It looked terrible. It was
Mm,
just terrible. And then my husband came back to the room and was crying. I was like, yeah, I look horrible. Like, it looks scary. I'll scare little children. I actually said that. And I actually think that I did, in fact, while going to appointments, maybe scare a couple of little kids. It was intense. And,
mm.
um, my husband just said, you're beautiful. And he kept saying that until it took 2 years
Okay.
for me to get back to here, you know,
Yeah.
but he always thought it was beautiful. And, all my family and, I don't have a lot of family, but my close, um, I have a cousin, he's more like a brother, Travis. He brought his whole family to visit after I came home, and they have 4 kids, 4 small kids, and I said, "Travis, you need to prepare them because I don't wanna scare them." And, you know, it was that it was that serious to me. I was I felt like a monster, honestly. I really did, and I say that not to discourage anyone who is burned, but to encourage them because I feel like a diva again. Now it can all come
Mhm.
back, and not
Right.
it all does come back. It just takes time, you know,
Right.
and it does take a certain attitude as well. You need to be positive, I think, because the whole time while I had a lot of negativity, things were not really getting better for me. And then I my nurse and caretaker, Miriam, told me, Miss Tonya, this is all in your mind, because I'd healed a couple of years. And she's like, "'Cause you don't look like you used to anymore. Things are getting better." And while I was sleeping in the coma, your muscles atrophy. So I had to learn to walk again, and I couldn't eat or drink for almost a year. But
Wow.
another thing that happened was my right eye was always weak, and it just turned all the way over here, and I couldn't straighten it. So I've had one surgery for it, and I had another one scheduled for the end of the month. But praise God, it just got moved up to this Wednesday of next week. So my
Okay.
eyes will be straight all the time because sometimes they're a little wonky. And that was a big deal for me. I would take pictures with my eyes closed. And if I had to go out in public, I would keep that eye closed.
Mm,
But that's why I'm learning how to open it, to hold it open. Um, it was just it was amazing when she told me that, and I just had the first surgery to straighten my eye. So I got up enough courage to make a Facebook post because I hadn't talked to anybody or looked at social media or anything for 2 years. And I made a post kind of just saying what happened. And so many people on Facebook, responded. We thought you were dead. We haven't heard from you. We haven't seen
mm,
you like. We haven't seen you post. We haven't seen anything. And I said, okay, well, I got burned. I said, okay, you know what? I'll make a video and I'll post it and I'll explain everything instead of you know, telling the story over and over again. And I made that video and people started messaging me. I did wear makeup. I had a wig. I didn't quite look like this, but I felt really great about myself for making the video, because
mhm.
it's like, God, I thought not that long ago, I thought it was a monster. And now here I said, am I really going to push publish and put this on, the internet, right? For every, but it was good because other burn survivors who were going through the same thing messaged me and said, "Oh, you're so brave to do that." And I don't think it's bravery. I just think, I was just trying to talk to my friends, but I just think it's what you do. Some, you have to get back into life. But
Mhm,
as soon as I realized that it inspired people, I felt like I needed to do something to help other people maybe get through it faster than I did, or not faster because it's everybody needs to go at their own pace, but maybe just feel a little better about themselves just for that moment until they get to the point where they're okay with their scars showing, because
mhm.
it is a big deal. It's a really big deal.
It
To
helps. I think it always helps when, no matter what a situation is, when you see somebody that conquered it, so to speak, it lets you know that, you know what, I could probably get through this too.
Right.
Um, yeah, they did it. I can probably do it too. And I think it is serving as an inspiration. Like you said, a lot of burn victims reached out to you, and I think it is brave because it's always hard to for lack of a better word, expose ourselves, because you never know how people are going to receive it.
Mhm,
And when you realize and feel like, wow, I am helping somebody, even if it's one person,
mhm.
it's a good feeling. I mean, I personally think it's extremely brave of you, and courageous,
Oh,
that you did it. And like I said, it totally touched my heart because I can't imagine how, like you said, one day you're just living normal life
mhm.
and then this incident happens. And then not only that, it's like you said, you spoke to God, like, you was like, God, is this it? Is this what's happening to me?
Right.
Um, Yeah, it's so I just think it's, it's great to share. It's great that you're sharing it. So you went through a lot of rehab, I heard you mention. I'm sure that was a lot. Like you had to learn how to walk again. And I will be praying for you this upcoming Wednesday because you said next Wednesday is your surgery on your eye, right?
Wednesday,
Um,
they're gonna get actually, they're gonna do both of them. They're
okay,
gonna do both
all
eyes.
right.
It's gonna be
I'm
an
gonna be praying for you, for sure. So, when you was going through the rehab, um, it's great that you at this point now. Did you have a lot of highs and lows? Did you ever ask God, like, why me?
Yep, I did. I got through, what they teach you how to walk again very quickly, and it is very intense, very painful, it was one of the worst experiences of my life. I mean, but then again, it was one of the best because it shows you what you can do, what you're made of,
Mhm.
but it was so painful to learn to walk again. They teach you in 3 weeks to walk again, and you
Wow,
literally can't even stand up. These physical therapists are amazing. They sent me down to another facility, and it was just so. Some days I would just lay in the bed and just think I just can't do it. I can't do it. But I would, my husband again, he would come in, we're going to do this, I'm going to do this. And then, fast forward, I eventually made it home. I was in the hospital, all told, about 6 months because I got sepsis and had to, while I was in rehab, and had to go back to the hospital
mhm,
to get cleared up. Then we came home, and the sepsis was caused by an infection on my scalp that was MRSA, strep, and a very strange fungus. It sounds so gross. But, ultimately, it's just you've got sores on your head and your hair starts coming out. That made me septic. And it took about a year and a half to heal it. And through
wow.
that process, there was one point where the doctors weren't listening to me. I kept saying, it's still there because they give you shampoo to get rid of it. And I kept saying, it's still there. It's a real problem. It's itchy. It hurts. And then finally, I got a big lump on my neck, a big lump on my head, and all this just nastiness on the back of my head. And I got up one morning and I was just like, my husband had to give me my showers. I couldn't even give myself a shower. He would put my walker in the shower. I would hold on to it, and he would wash me. So he wanted to give me my shower, but I was brushing, coming my little bit of hair. And this big bump on my head just it starts to bleed. It's just like, yeah, blood, blood, blood. I'm looking in the mirror, and I said, God, why me? Why? Why am I here? Why? Why are you letting this happen to me? And then you know what I remembered? I asked God to save me when I was on fire,
Mm,
and
mm,
He did. He did. I never questioned it again. I had to wrap
amen.
my head around it at that moment, it was like but you definitely feel like, it's another day when you open your eyes, and I tell people when you wake up as a burn survivor, there's always gonna be something either, hurting, itching, or bleeding, period, when you first get home, so
Mhm.
it's, very discouraging, but just that memory, going back to that memory of God, is this really how I'm supposed to die? And Him saving me
Mm,
because I had accepted my fate. I was saying the Lord's Prayer. I was getting right to go. So it's not fair to ask Him to save you and then ask Him why me.
why by you? Wow, wonderful. You have
Yeah.
to get into I think it's great and it's a great story for us to segue into how your husband has just been by your side throughout the whole thing. And
Yeah.
but first I want you to start off like where you met, how you met, and how long you have been married before the incident, and then go into that. And also we do have a question here. Um, um, Kevin said, was your kids there?
They were not my kids. I had kids young with my
Oh,
first husband, not that young, but in my early 20s. They had just moved out. My son had moved out. He's 25 now, and my daughter had just moved out the month before to move in
wow.
with her fiance. So it was just me and my husband, and that is a valid point because when I was leaving, I said to my husband, "Get, I need the kids. Please get the kids just in case,
Wow.
like because we each." When he put me out, he burned his arms up to the elbow, so he needed to go in an ambulance too. But his burns weren't like mine; they were just
Okay.
wrap him up. His were second degree, so not that second degree burns are bad, but not like this, right?
Right.
So
Right.
for most people, they're bad, but they were not here. But they came immediately to the hospital. Unfortunately, I was already asleep. You know,
Oh,
I didn't get to see them until for 2 months. They
wow.
just came every day and watched me in my coma and talked to me. The kids came, too. My daughter would come, bring my son. She's in school. She was studying veterinary, and after, I was, in the hospital, she changed her major to nursing. Like you
Oh,
said, all the great people, all the great nurses and doctors, she saw, and she loves animals, but she changed her major to nursing, and she'll be graduating in May as a nurse, and I think that's amazing too, like another good thing.
yeah,
I
yes.
mean, I
God bless her.
veterinary, but, switching to nursing, that's so amazing, you know?
Right. Yes, it is.
It
Yes,
is.
it is. And just so you know, I'm a pediatric nurse. I don't work in a hospital anymore.
My
But
daughter's
yes.
working at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and,
Ah,
right now she's working there as an emergency room tech because she's in nursing school, and I think they only allow techs and EMTs, etcetera.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's sweet.
And thanks, Marcella, for joining us tonight. She said, "Thank you for sharing your heartfelt story. Be blessed."
I am
Yes,
thank you.
yes,
I am blessed and favored.
yes, yes, yes. So talk to us about this husband, honey, because he's
Lord
amazing.
he can be something. But I tell you what, he was really something, and and I needed him. We met. I'm 48 now. We met when I was 31. So, and we've been together the whole time. It was like online dating was just starting. We, met on some dating site and then went out on a date. We immediately just liked each other. I just gotten divorced, and you know, I didn't really I wasn't really looking for, like, a relationship, but
Mhm.
sometimes when you find the right person, you can't expect them to wait
Yeah,
until you're ready, right? You gotta
yeah.
roll with it. So I was like, "Well, I gotta keep this one." So I did that, and we lived together for, 4.5 years before we actually got married, and we got married in Jamaica. We renew our vows every 5 years. We
Oh,
travel.
nice.
Um, we renewed our vows right before I got burned. The month we got married in November of 2008, so we've been married 13 years now. So in 2018 was our 10-year anniversary. So we had gotten married twice in Jamaica. The first time a vow renewal 5 years later in Ocho Rios because we love Jamaica. And then I got wanderlust and I was like, I gotta. We had told each other we would just keep going to Jamaica every 5 years, but I was like, man, maybe it would be nice to do something different. So we went to the French Alps, French,
Nice.
Italian, and Swiss Alps, and we renewed our vows in France. Um, it was amazing. and exactly 1 month later, I got burned.
Wow.
So, we had just renewed our vows, and of course, he was struggling with the fact that he had squirted the lighter fluid, right?
Mm,
But I was asleep, and he kept a diary for me that's just between me and him. But he kept a digital diary on his phone and wrote down the things that were happening from day to day so that I could read it later. And I did. It was much, much later before I read it, before I had the mental strength to read it too. You know what I
right. Yeah.
mean? But and that's how I know a lot of the things about the scrapings. That's how I put things together in my,
Mm,
oh, that's what was happening when I was hiding in my room.
right.
But he made this diary of everything that happened. And in the diary, he writes, "The worst part is not being able to talk to you.
Mm,
Talking to you for all these years. I want to talk to you." And
mm,
and he would make notes. And like I sent, you know, Roddy, he's my son, his name is Rodney. Sent Roddy and someone, I sent them to the store just so I could write and talk to you for a minute because he considered that diary talking to me.
talking to you.
Uh-huh, because at first with the ICU, you're not allowed to sleep in it. So I think at first sometimes he had to come home. But most of the time he stayed in there's a family room that you can stay in. But once you step down one, about the ICU,
Mhm,
step down
mhm.
the ICU, then he came in and just stayed the whole time. And he knew everything. He was talking to the nurses. He knew every one of them. He brought them coffee every morning. How
Mhm.
they were doing. There was one day where he wouldn't let someone watch me because he had seen something happen. I mean, he was serious about stuff, and
Right.
he was he knew my medication, the dosage, when I needed to take it. So, when people come in, "Oh, it's about time for medicine. Maybe you ought to get that ready." And of course they didn't need his help, but they didn't need his help. But when we got to rehab, it was helpful though, because they were kind of different. They kind of did need his help. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know, and Marcella said that is true love to the fullest. Yes, it is.
And
And
baths and you take a bath just laying in your bed.
mhm.
Every day, him and the nurse are giving me my bed baths because you got to keep the skin clean, clean, clean.
Yeah.
So he started giving me baths before we left the hospital and then kept doing it after we got home, showers until I could. Finally, one day I stuck and I took a shower by myself after I got strong. And I told my daughter I was going to do it. And she wasn't here, but she called my husband and told on me. My nurse was downstairs and she didn't know what I was doing. I was like, "I'm just gonna get out of the bed and I'm gonna sneak in the shower." She told on me. Uh,
Crazy Cat said he's a keeper. He definitely is. I think it's important for you to tell that piece of the story because I think nowadays, and I do a segment on Wednesday called Relationship Wednesdays. I think a lot of people they give up and they give in so easy on their relationship
right,
and to have a husband that you know he truly loves you. I mean, to just stay there and just to be there through that time period. And the part that I love that you said is that he just kept telling you that you were beautiful, that you're beautiful.
right,
That's just y'all should write a book because your story is just absolutely like amazing.
I
And
mean,
the fact that he kept this journal, and I know you said it's between y'all two, but the fact that he kept that and it was like he felt like this is my conversation with you. This
right,
is me talking to you. Um, even though you can't talk back right now. And I do believe, as a nurse, when you have family by your side like that,
I
that saves the person also.
think so.
Um,
I
it,
mean,
it really does.
I them, but my daughter told me that one day she left and said, "Bye, mom." and that I mouthed and said, "Love you, Mom," and that I mouthed the words, "Love you too, Shelley." And I was paralyzed. I was in a coma. But she said that I mouthed the words, "Love you too, Shelley," because I wanted to tell her that bad, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, you know,
Oh,
eh,
I believe that because like you said, you felt the scraping of the skin. So it's like
was
you was experiencing everything, but just couldn't say it, couldn't verbalize it.
and
That
I
was
was
going
living
on.
a different life in my mind too. I was looking for my family. I was, I can't go into all of it, but the main gist of it, I was 10 years younger. I was a paralegal again. I kind of like backtracked, and I was looking for my husband and my kids all the time. I was just
Wow.
wandering, looking for them. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? And I could hear my cousin brother, Travis. I would dream that we were in our house here and that somehow they lived in our basement. I could hear him and my little niece, one in particular, Blakely. I would dream that I heard it, so maybe they were on the phone, right? I don't remember that
Mm.
journal, but maybe. But that's how important I think family is to it, you know? People definitely need a strong support group. I don't know
Yeah.
how to do it without that, and, of course, I had a very good, burn unit too, of course, you you can tell just looking at my face how talented the doctors were. I thought I was a monster to begin with, but now with my makeup on, people don't stare at me. That's why I started wearing my makeup again. I've been getting some strange messages recently where people are like, "Oh, you're beautiful anyway. You don't have to wear makeup. You don't have to, you don't have to worry about that." But mm,
Well,
please,
can I tell you that I
always
think
been a diva.
well, you know what though? People, we have to change the narrative on makeup though, period.
Right.
Um, I think people have this thing about makeup where it's like if you wear makeup, regardless of, your situation, not just anybody, when you wear makeup, they feel like you're covering up something, you're not happy with yourself. So I think it's a narrative with makeup that is just a little bit off. It's like, some people like, well, why are you wearing that? Because you want to, because we want to, because it's fun. You
It's
know,
I was an artist growing up. I drew, I sketched. I love art. I love things like that, and makeup is an art. I had fun doing my makeup tonight, that's why they're called makeup artists, y'all.
yeah,
You
yeah,
Nobody's beating me, and I'm not trying to hide my
right,
skin. When I make a tutorial, I start with no makeup. You can see me, and I've posted pictures with no makeup. You can see me without the
right,
makeup, and I never hide these arms or legs or my whole body is affected, really. Uh, the only things that aren't affected are things you can't see, you know?
right, right.
Everything you can see, like legs and arms and chest.
Yeah,
Um, they didn't take skin from my belly, and I don't know why, but maybe they just leave that alone, or maybe it's not a good idea. I don't know why, but they did
yeah.
everywhere else, literally everywhere else. I was a little bit lighter. I gained some weight, and they were running out of places to take skin from, and they were
Wow,
considering doing cadaver skin on the last surgery, and instead they did a tummy tuck. Can you believe it? They gave me a full tummy tuck. I went in for a surgery and woke up 9 hours later, and they had decided to do a tummy tuck to get the skin they needed.
wow.
It's like, what? It's like, bless you. Bless you. Thank you so much.
Right, thank you. It's amazing what they can do. Now when I know they was using your own skin, but did the skin always take when they did it, or did you have to go through where sometime it didn't take and they
My
had
face,
to do it over again?
my face didn't take the first time. Um,
Oh,
and it due to exactly at the moment I got a six pack. Now that I thought that, it didn't take. My face didn't take the first time, and it died, and they had to scrape it off and do it again. Thank
Wow.
blessing, because I think it looks okay. I
It
mean,
looks beautiful. It looks amazing. You look gorgeous.
good. I think it's
I
that.
love it. I love it, love it, love it.
It's a
Love
blessing
it.
that way, right? But I'm sure the doctors were. I don't know how long it takes to recreate a face, but I'm pretty sure it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
They did a surgery every week for the 8 weeks while I was in the coma,
Oh,
and then
really?
they were done. Every week I was taking the surgery to do to do different grafts, and that's intense. Can you imagine like a surgery a week? And I don't know how many they did initially, like when I first got there,
Right.
but then once they got into the cycle, got me in the coma, then it was one a week for 8 weeks, and then after I woke up, they stopped surgeries with the exception of putting in a feeding tube and doing some other things. And then thank you, Marcella. God is good all the time,
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time, even when you don't think so.
Yes.
I still
Yes.
have pain meds. I still have them, and let me tell you why. I gained a lot of weight um, during I was having surgeries after I got out of the hospital about every 4 to 6 weeks, getting things fixed. I still haven't had my laser surgery. That's why my skin's not smooth yet.
Okay.
Um, but COVID came, and I got a call from my surgeon that they were stopping surgeries during the pandemic because it was Grady Hospital, their trauma center. They were overwhelmed with COVID patients.
Mhm.
They're the only trauma center that you would go to here in Atlanta. Pardon me. There's otherwise you'd have to go pretty far, and they're an excellent trauma center. So, like the what do you call it? The level one trauma center. So they
Mhm.
wouldn't do surgeries. But I got depressed. I was like, well, how long is a pandemic? Is that 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years? How long is it? Because
Right.
I wasn't looking like this yet.
Mm.
So, they had just done a surgery. I had this huge lip, and that they had just created my top lip. And there I was with this huge lip, and now there's COVID, and I can't have any more surgeries. So I started eating, and then I got COVID myself. My husband
Mm.
tried so hard. My husband, my caretaker, tried so hard not to get it in the house, but I got it anyway. And after I got COVID, I was on oxygen for 8 months, and it felt like things were just going, and I just kept eating.
Yeah.
And I used to smoke, believe it or not. So of course you don't smoke after you survive burns.
Right. Right.
I don't smoke anymore. I don't drink wine because I have an association with having drank the wine and then catching fire. So
Oh.
I don't smoke. I don't even drink coffee. Everything changed after the coma. I love coffee before. Now I don't drink it. I didn't like sweets. Now I eat them. So I eat those sweets. So I'm making this story too long. The gist of it is skin grafts don't stretch. So I was probably still about 40 pounds lighter when the grafts were done than I am now. So
Mm.
my doctor for the first time this year, I was like, look, I gained all this weight. And he's like, God, that's got to hurt. I was like, why? Because I'd been asking my primary care physician, it's like, how long am I going to be on pain medicine? Yeah, right? Because when I
Yeah.
took it, I hurt. I try not taking it, but I hurt. Um, and when the surgeon said that, I was like, what? That was the first moment I found out that skin grafts don't stretch. And he was like, "Well,
Oh.
this weight you've got underneath there is pushing, pushing, pushing on those scars. And that's what
Mm.
your pain, like in my chest and my back. I mean, just everything. I still feel it. Um, I can tell right now that I forgot to take my pain medicine earlier. So,
Oh,
I mean, that's how it is. So
wow.
I'm still trying to get through it, but I think I've been working really hard to get the weight back off because for me, that this isn't about vanity. It's about I need to get back down to where I was when the grafts were done. Period.
Right.
To be comfortable, nothing is, to 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 stop hurting. That's what I need to do. And I keep stretching and trying all that, but literally they do not stretch. And I have already lost a lot of weight. I mean, when
Well,
I say
congratulations.
a I've,
um,
I've
Crazy
lost,
Cat said, "Can you can so you can work out? You can."
I have have y'all seen the QB? Like you would put it under your desk and it's like an elliptical and you would
Move your feet on it.
put your feet on it. I keep
Yes.
it in my chair in the living room where I watch TV and do things, and I just keep doing that. I keep riding it. Then I have weights and I do that. I'm still a fall risk. So even though I look, like a diva and all, I'm still a fall risk. And when
Okay.
I can't get back up by myself.
Okay.
I can't do it. I have tried. I cannot do it. I'm normally not home alone. My caretaker is here 4 days a week. Um, well, I guess I am because 2 days a week, it's kind of me and my pup, my dog. But he helps me. He can help me. But I'm a risk to fall, and that's kind of the thing that I want survivors to know about me is that even though I love my glam and I love my makeup and my wigs and my clothes and all, I am still I'm still in it with y'all. I'm still in the struggle. I want to work out more. Um, I can do squats if I'm allowed to do those if I stand in front of the chair, so that in case I fall, I can try to fall backwards. And
Right.
I can walk, but I have to be careful. I just stopped walking with a cane about 2 months ago, um, which was a big deal, and that was because I lost 70 pounds.
Look at you.
And so it's like so
Congrats.
that little elliptical and, Nutrisystem and then keto and all that, I've worked really hard to try to do that because not only do I wanna stop hurting, but I wanna be healthy now. I've been given a second chance at life, so, we are thank you, we are particularly affected by diabetes and things like that. Uh,
Yes.
so, it's not I feel like I look great. I don't mind being a little bit curvy, my husband
Yeah.
doesn't that, but I need I need to do it for other reasons, I need to get it down. Thank you, Shay. I think I
Yes.
do.
Thank you, Shay. Yes, truly, truly a blessing. And I think a blessing to everybody. It's not just, I think you can touch and help not just burn victims, but everybody. Um,
Felt
Sometimes we waddle in like the smallest things and we don't really realize how blessed we are. And it shouldn't take something to happen for us to understand and know, how blessed we are each and every day.
and
Um,
you made a lot of good points. You're blessed, and I didn't address, mammogram. My skin grafts don't bulge. I love my curves. Uh, but the thing you mentioned about relationship Wednesdays, I do want to say something about that, and that is that, like, I was raised by my grandparents, and they're a different generation. Thank you, Anita. They're a different generation. When things broke, they fixed them. Literally, that's why you see the little old lady and she's got a 1950s car. Why? Because every time it broke, she fixed it. She took care of it. She, she didn't just go out and get another one. And that's what we need to do in our marriages. You know, my marriage is wonderful. It's not perfect though. I mean, we argue, we get stressed. We're both doing a lot of things. I mean, we don't argue a lot. We had a little spell. I mean, we're a
You're
couple.
human. You're
We're
human, but the point is though that you're in it together. And I like that statement. Say that to me again, because you said like when it's say that again what you said your grandma said.
our you know, like my grandmother and grandfather, when things broke, they fixed them.
Fix it.
They didn't go out and buy another. For us, if something, thank you, if something breaks, we go buy another one.
Yep.
They didn't. They fixed it. So that's why you see the little old lady with the car in her garage just got, you know, 20,000 miles on it from 1950 and it's still working because she took care of it. And if you want to have things, you need to take care of them, and that includes your marriage. You know, you just because things are going wrong doesn't mean that you should
Give up.
give up and just move on. Eh, If you can, if you're safe physically and emotionally, and it's just a relationship issue, you should try to fix it if you can. It's worth it, and that's what we've done, and that's how we've gotten to be so close and so strong. You know, over the years, we've not given up. You know,
God bless.
it just
God bless. And the other nice part about your story for all those singles out there, your men online,
mhm,
now is great because you have the opportunity to meet people in, I guess, some non-traditional ways.
right.
Um, but I'm going to take that back and I'm going to hold on to that piece of information. It's right. If it's broke, fix it. Give it an opportunity, give it a chance. And of course, we're not talking about, like you said, if you're not safe or
Right.
you're in a situation that's something different. But a lot of us, a lot of people now they look for a substitute. The minute a little smidget goes wrong,
That's
they're ready to bow out. Yeah,
right.
they're leaving.
Nope,
Yeah,
nope, don't do that. Mean if you take those vows, don't take them unless you mean them,
no,
because
you're right.
I'm telling you, you want someone in your life that will be in the hospital room if this happens.
Yes,
You
yes,
you want that person. So, you know, it's just all about taking care of things and uh, uh, take care of your marriage, take care of yourself, and hi, Malika. That's so sweet. I love seeing these messages. I'm not done this.
yes. It's
So
beautiful, right?
I'm so
Thank you for sharing. You're amazing and beautiful. Yes, yes.
blessed that I have this opportunity to use the second half of my life to do that, because you're right. It's not just burn survivors that contact me. It's lots of people with maybe, I mean, you don't have to have scars on the outside. Not all scars are visible, right? And we
Right.
all have scars. So I talk to anyone who wants to talk to me, and because I don't think they would approach me. I mean, except for, except for like
Well,
me.
sometimes we don't know. What touched me about you also is that, it's so easy now to be like to complain or to feel sorry for yourself. And when I see amazing stories like yours, it reminds me that like Cheryl, like if they can go through all of that and still persevere and still thank God and still move on, then surely you can, right? So that's why, I love when people share like this. I love when people share because it helps. You never know who you're helping. You
That's
never know who you're helping.
to the other burn survivors. Like once you get to the point where you're willing to share or you're willing to show your face, do it. Our stories, us clinging together as a community, not just burn survivors, to basically humans. If you just cling together and tell your stories, somebody is going to draw something from it, and if you tell your story, somebody's going to draw from that. So, you have to be, it's hard to be transparent, honestly.
Yes.
you know,
Yes, it is.
and
Yes,
it,
it is. Sharing is caring, right? Back to that old statement, sharing and caring. And it's definitely hard to be transparent, but I think being transparent allows others to know that they're not out there alone. Sometimes you're inside yourself and you think it's just you going through a certain thing. But then when someone else shares, you're like, wow, that happened to me also, or I can relate.
right,
Um,
right, because, you know, for a while I was like, there's lots of people with burns, but not with burned faces, with their mouth hanging open. You know, I thought,
Thank you, Shay. That's beautiful. Yes, she sure did, right? You turned your pain into power, and that's amazing.
I
I
didn't.
like that statement. Thank you, Shay.
I'm a better person now. I wouldn't. People don't believe me when I say that I wouldn't change it, and I wouldn't. It's. I promise you, I wouldn't. That doesn't mean that I don't sometimes feel a little angry if I look in the mirror, like, I did it. Had to take all this to get me here, right? You
Right.
anger sometimes. And you're going to when you're going to get PTSD. You're going to have a lot of struggles, and sometimes you're going to be angry about it. But ultimately, this made me. I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I'm going to get so many messages from people just like this, very inspirational.
Yeah,
Anything I
very
can
intimate.
do, follow. I try. Yeah, it's all I want to do. It really is, and things are falling into place because I just started out very meekly, just doing the makeup, and it's getting better and better and better because I do it every day. And then suddenly I did Shake My Beauty, and then it's better and it's better. And then I get the Amazon influencer position, which I thought, what? Now, the thing about that, I'm not trying to
And
get,
congratulations.
thank you, but
Yes.
I didn't think I would ever do anything to earn a dime again. Not, I mean, I help
Mm,
my husband with our tree company,
right.
but I've always been independent. I've always worked. I was a realtor when I got burned. And afterwards, with this pain, with the trouble walking still, um, I never thought I'd do anything to earn a dime to help. And now I'm like, what? That is so amazing. It's not my goal, and I definitely want to say that to all of you. I kind of struggled with it at first because the reason I do learn beauty is not to be an influencer or to earn money. It's to do exactly what I set out to do with the first one, video, and it is just to help other survivors.
But
It's,
maybe God is blessing you as a residual. Like
it's
he knows you're helping others, and part of your blessing is the benefits that are coming along with it.
I'm sorry.
So
It's
yeah, you don't go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's humbling.
Yeah,
It's humbling.
yeah.
It's
I mean, I would have never seen you if it wasn't for some of the things that are coming from the benefits of it, right?
right.
So it's amazing, and I think you embrace it and keep going. Um, I love seeing your fashion, and I love seeing your makeup. So I have a girlfriend. She does my makeup, but you know what's interesting to me is that you said you were an artist. I notice a lot of makeup artists that I run into, they are physically like artists,
It's not.
and that's why they do it so well.
Mhm.
Because yours is very pretty, a very nice job. I mean, I absolutely love it. But when did you first pick up the brush? Like once your accident happened and you had your surgery, when did you pick it up? Like when did you pick it up and start, saying this is what I'm gonna do?
Let me think about this because I started wearing makeup kind of further back. I somewhere in 2019, even while I was having surgeries on Amazon, I found these adhesive eyebrows. Right now, I just got my eyebrows tattooed yesterday. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Beautiful.
brows, if you're watching. And the other eyebrows are adhesive, and I highly recommend them. They're so pretty when I'm always on fleek with those dark brows. But when I found those, I started putting on just a little bit of foundation, a little bit of lip gloss, because it made me feel good, right?
Right.
But then, after I got my eye fixed, that was in May of this year. Um, that's and my eyes were straight. That pushed the confidence. It's like I can look into a camera, I can talk to people. I'm not ashamed. So I started. I'm digging. I'm looking through my makeup, right? Because I've always had makeup. I'm looking. I'm looking. I'm looking. And I put on a full face of makeup and a pretty wig. And I'm just feeling amazing. I get a ring light and the light shines on me and I'm like, "Whoa." So that's like maybe June of 2021. And what's so important about that, y'all? I know a lot of people think it's just makeup, but makeup has always been a part of my life. I started wearing lipstick, sneaking it when I was 13, like go to school, put it on, right? Sneaking it in my and then full faces of makeup, and I'm sure by 15. Um, and after I got burned and my face was just so bad, it wasn't something that I thought I'd ever be doing again. I mean, why would you?
Mm.
My mouth is hanging open. I can't close my mouth. I had a friend come over and he saw me for the first time and he was like, "Well, Lisa," he's talking about his wife. She uses a airbrush and puts a little stuff on. And I was like, my mouth doesn't close and then my eyes turn this way. I don't think an airbrush is going to help. But I don't think it's ever gonna. But he was trying to cheer me up, right?
Right.
Because he knew me before and he knew that I would look very much like this. And I just didn't think I'd ever get to do it again. I didn't think it would be something that I wanted to do again. I mean, why? When you do it, you obviously want a good result. If you paint a picture, you want to look at it at the end and think it's pretty. So
Right.
your face, you want to look at it and think, that looks good, right?
Yeah.
So I never thought I'd do it again. For From the time I got home in 2019, all through 2020, and until half the year of this year, I never thought I would do it again. But I really picked my brush up, and it was really June where I really picked it up and really started doing some things and taking some. I took one picture, and I was like, yes, I felt it, right? Because I could see myself. I'd ask
Mm.
doctors, my surgeons, let me show you a picture of me. Let me show you who I am because you've never seen me before.
Right.
Let me show you. And one surgeon, I told him that I said, I just want my face back. I don't care about anything.
Mm.
It was a very stoic moment. He didn't say a word. He's an older surgeon. He's the guy that really created the burn unit and at this hospital, and he's amazing, but he didn't say a word, right? So I thought, well,
Right.
that's a good sign. And then I talked to a young surgeon who said he was, I got switched to, and he said, you're going to need to get a therapist so that you can
Mm.
um, have reasonable expectations of my work. Nope,
Mm.
I'm a therapist, but I do not have to have reasonable expectations. And neither does any of the other burn survivors. Nobody knows what's going to happen except God. And you will find out as He reveals it to you what's going to happen because not everybody's face heals this well.
Wow.
I'd be okay with that if it didn't. Have you seen some of the other um, very inspirational burn survivors? Jariah Pitt. She's an Australian lady. She's amazing. She was caught in a brush fire running a 100-mile race. She's a runner, like an Ironman. Her face didn't heal like mine, but she's just so beautiful. She helps people. She helps moms, get up and run. She has a purpose. Shalom Black is another lady who was from Nigeria, and she's bald and she's a beautiful model. Katie Piper in England is just so beautiful, you know? Her face is just stunning when you look at her, and, it's just you don't know how you're gonna heal. You don't know what's gonna happen, but I'll tell you one thing, you are going to be beautiful because it's gonna change you.
Mm.
You are inside, and you're gonna be beautiful no matter what. You know, this stuff is what I love to do. I like to be glam. I like to be diva, right?
Right, right.
But inside, I'm something different now, and I tell you that for sure. And so are the other survivors of trauma or abuse or burns or whatever it is that you're going through. When you come out the other side, if you hang in there and come out the other side, you're gonna be somebody different because
Yeah.
you did it, you know? You did it. And I honestly would have never thought that I was strong enough to do it. Even after I came home, I had fears in my mind, like, I'm just gonna sit in this house for the rest of my life. What am I gonna do?
Mm.
Right? People would say you're gonna be a realtor. No, I'm not. You kidding me? You think I'm gonna go out and meet people? No, I'm not doing that. Are you gonna go out? I went to the grocery store maybe twice. And people stared at me, and so I got to tell you this about that. Our scars, we wear them proudly. We're not ashamed of them. Um, but it's not fun being stared at either.
Yeah.
Um, I don't mind it now because the people aren't staring at you because they're bad people. They're just curious. You know, they're curious. Just like when you
Mm.
drive by and you see a car accident, you wonder what happened. That's what they're doing. So survivors and people, they're not bad people. Maybe say something to them if you can, you know, maybe say hello and kind of break it because they're in their head at that moment. You know,
Right.
they're not there to judge. They're not judging you. They're not there to.
Curiosity.
It is curiosity.
Yeah. It's
I love to hear
curiosity.
your story. Every nurse I had that didn't know me asked me what happened when they came in because everybody wants to know, and I don't mind telling that story because it
Right.
helps. You know, you saw how quickly I came out with it. You know, uh, I don't mind telling it. I'm proud of it, and I don't even know what's going on right now. So, like you
Mhm.
said, like attracts like karma. So God is giving some back to me right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I
And I'm actually so glad that I'm getting to meet you in these beginning stages because I really feel like more greatness is coming your way. You said some amazing jewels tonight, and the one I just caught is that, people are not mean. They're looking at you because they're curious. And
Yep.
like you said, you compared it to the accident. And I think we can translate that to other things. Sometimes we always think that, why is this happening or why is this person looking at me this way? If we change our mindset on certain things, I think it will change our experience that we have with a person or the environment that we're in at certain times. We always think maybe the negative, but I like the way you spin everything into like a positive. um,
It's the
you're
difference.
doing well. You're doing well over there. You're doing extremely well. How long were you in therapy?
About a
Or
year.
did you?
And
Okay.
now I'm kind of like light therapy, you know, that like intense therapy was about
Okay.
a year. And now I'm kind of like therapy light. So I have to stay in check, you know, but
Yes.
I'm a lot better. But I still need someone to be there for me. And I think we all do because, again, there's PTSD. There's times when honest to God, I'm on fire again in my mind.
Mhm.
You guys just don't know. I mean, there's a lot. Um, I'm not any different than the other people you see on social media, where we look a certain way and things appear to be a certain way because I like to take pretty pictures, but I've got PTSD. You saw in my documentary, I walk. It's a struggle. I've gotten better now because even just since that documentary was filmed, I've lost a lot of weight. But still, it's hard to walk, right? It's hard to
Mhm.
move arms. It's things are just different, you know. Um, it's just you just have to consider it to be that I know you've heard the saying that life is 1% what happens to you and 99% how you
How you react to it.
right, how you react to it. And that's true. No matter what happens, you know you just got to be positive and get through it. I mean, my face, I am happy with how I look. I do feel beautiful. People tell me that, but it's still not the same face that I used to have. But that is gone. That's gone. You let it go. There's no coming back to that. Like when I showed the doctor the picture and I just want my face back and he didn't say anything. Well, that's why. But I still have a wonderful face and it still looks like me. People are like, oh, look, I see you again. Your muscles don't change underneath. You just have to wait, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
um, I saw some people, oh, there's some survivors who might lose limbs to amputation. There's so many struggles you might have to get through, but you just got to get to the other side. And I think the best thing you can do to heal yourself is to help other people. Um, because it definitely helps me every day. And just hearing, the nice people that are watching and saying, that they, are inspired. That's amazing. What, by me? You know, what? That's amazing. All I did was, heal and um, do some makeup. So it's just amazing. But yeah, everybody watching me just know that I do still deal with burn survivor issues. I'm not all healed. I'm not out. I'm not going dancing tonight. I'm not. None of that's happening. I'm going to post a picture after this, and you're going to see how fabulous I look standing up, and you're going to think, "Oh, that's amazing." Then know
Yes,
that I'm in
post
my
the
pain.
picture. So you have to tell us, what are some of your um oh, that's a good question, Kev. He said, was it hard to look at old photos of yourself?
That was the hardest thing. That was
Mm.
absolutely the hardest thing to do. Looking at old photos was something that I just did recently, and it was it was devastating. Guys,
Mm.
I think that my husband and my pup are gonna walk down the stairs behind me because my pup needs to go outside, so everybody
Okay.
just sorry in the broadcast that
Okay.
if you hear Grady, I'm
No
sorry, he
problem.
has to go potty. I'm sorry,
It's
guys.
okay.
But looking at pictures of myself was just especially the wedding pictures where, like a professional makeup artist has made you up and your
Yeah.
hair is perfect and you're in a gown. And I looked at it and that really did. It freaked me out, honestly. I hadn't thought about it, but we just had
Hmm.
a big stack of photos. And when I started looking at them, I was like, oh my God, right? That was me. That is me.
Right.
That's still me. One of the nurses at the burn unit, on my first appointment there, I went in, I even told the receptionist, I just want my face back. Right? I mean, it was my first outpatient appointment. I'm talking to the receptionist. right? I just want my face back. And there was a nurse standing there who said, who said, what's the problem? Did something inside you change when your face changed, right? And no, ma'am, right? And she said, well, then you're okay. You're okay.
Mm.
Nothing inside me changed, but it was very difficult. I still don't really care that much to look at pictures of old me. Um, I don't think because it hurts my feelings, but because I got to keep looking ahead.
Mhm.
Y- That's what I have to do for me.
Mhm.
Recovery. That's what I have to do. Is just keep like ahead,
Laser focus.
laser focus. It's what
Mhm.
I do. So, it things like that can really get you if you are a survivor. I've heard it in the burn groups, like things like looking at old photos can really throw you into a depression if you don't watch it. So if you're a survivor and you're new, yeah,
Mhm.
stay out of your photo albums or your you don't need to look at your old pictures right now because I looked at them almost 3 years later and was like, oh,
Wow.
you know.
Ah,
So
so you gotta tell us some of your go-to makeup products. Which ones do you love?
I love Fenty Beauty.
Ah,
I right now today, look, check this out. I don't know if y'all can see it, but this highlighter is gold.
I see it. I see it.
It is gold. Only Rihanna, well, only Fenty Beauty has this gold highlighter, and I'm obsessed with it. I put it here, I put it here, I get it. I'm obsessed with it. It's called Trophy Wife. That cracks me up, right? I'm not sharing their makeup, these cute things. Um, so I'm absolutely obsessed with Fenty Beauty because when I first started making my tutorials, my skin was at a stage where I had to use Dermablend, the really thick, heavy makeup. It's like a
Mhm.
really heavy silicone-based makeup, kind of stage makeup. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
you could even do special effects with it. It's so cakey. But that's what I had to use to make a smooth effect. Now I can wear the same foundation you are. Now, I don't know if I can wear any foundation, but I know I can wear Fenty Beauty. It's called, I think it's Pro Filter Matte Foundation, and it's amazing to me. I bought it. The reason I bought it, her makeup, was because I was looking at Savage X, her clothing line,
Mhm.
uses models. Just she's completely inclusive in her models. They are not all some are models, like supermodels, but a lot of them, there might be me in some lingerie. And on if you just take a look at Savage X, there she has clothes that go up to 2X. There's actually models that are 2X. There's
Mhm.
models that are extra small. There's models with vitiligo. There's models with wandering eyes that are cross-eyed. It's amazing.
It's everybody. Yeah.
Everybody. I mean, it's still
Mhm.
what regular models do, where they're not getting cut out for being perfect, right?
Right.
But everybody. And when I saw that, I was like, wow. And I bought some Savage X clothes or underwear or whatever, and just because of that. And then I started looking at Fenty Beauty, and she had a sale, and so I was like, let me try it. Now that's all I wear. My eyeshadow though is Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm kind of stuck on Anastasia, y'all. And usually when you see my eyeshadow, it is Anastasia. It's not Fenty. Um, Anastasia Beverly Hills has been doing eyes for a long time. I remember when Anastasia was a lady in Hollywood doing eyebrows. So it's been a long time. Her eyeshadow is amazing, as you can
Your
see.
lip is popping right now. I'm loving it.
It's
Um,
good, good eyeshadow. and just
And what do you have on your lips? I love it. It's like popping through the screen.
this is it's an ombre duo that I bought on Amazon, and I think the company it's an off-brand company, like maybe New York something. I'll put it in my Amazon store because I don't think it's there, but it's an
Okay.
ombre lipstick, and so one end of it you line your lips with the darker color. You come in right here, maybe kind of higher, line it with the darker color, and then you take the lighter color and just highlight it so it's ombre, just like my hair, and like you
Yeah.
said, popping, right?
Yes,
So
it is. Yes, it is. It's popping through the screen. I love it.
y'all got it, and it comes in different colors. I'm gonna put it in my Amazon store if it's not already there. And I'll put it in there tonight so y'all can get it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So everybody, I want to tell everyone, let me just make sure I got all my questions out here. Um, Tell everyone where they can follow you at, and I'll update the description later so that everybody can follow you and stay in contact. And we will definitely be praying for you for your upcoming surgery.
excited,
Um, and
y'all.
just everything, just everything. So tell them where they can find you at on Instagram.
Instagram, I am Burned Beauty 2018, one word altogether. And on Facebook, it's the same, and on YouTube. I've got a few tutorials on YouTube. I'm trying to make more videos for YouTube. I'd love a follow on that, just like Miss Diva here. I follow on that on her too because I let me talk about you, but I love your YouTube. I looked at it after you
Oh, thank
invited me
you.
it. But I am on everything. I don't really tweet much, so we're not going to talk about that. But basically, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, I am one word, Burned Beauty 2018, which is the year I got burned.
Wow,
Can you see
okay.
this? Can y'all see that? I don't know if you can see it.
A little bit. What are you showing me?
That middle
Is
ring,
that yeah.
it says Burn Beauty.
Oh,
I can't even read that. It's brand new. It says Burned Beauty. I know y'all can't read it on there, but I
we can't read it, but that's beautiful. Wow.
Beauty.
Did
So
you get that yourself or did someone give it to you?
I actually bought it, but my husband, I showed it to him and he's like, "Oh, honey, go ahead and get one, right? Because you can, it's just like a ring that you get, you can put your kids' names on it, right?
Uh-huh.
I can't remember who makes it. I just got it yesterday. I had to wait forever. But so I put my name, says Burned Beauty.
Beauty. I
So,
love it. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful,
so
beautiful.
Burned Beauty, and I'm a real person, and I try to respond to everyone right now. It takes some time. If you need me, direct message me if you're going through anything. I'm not a therapist, but I can talk to you and I can get you to the right person that can help you for sure.
And that's beautiful. Before we go, what would you love for the audience to know about conquering an obstacle that may be standing in their way?
Mm. That it you just go at it a little bit at a time. Like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time,
Mm,
right? That's it. It's one day at a time. Sometimes it's 1 second at a time. I think I've heard the same apply to maybe people in recovery for other things. Sometimes it's just 1 minute at a time, but that's how you get to the other side. When you're feeling
mm,
like you can't make it, just tell yourself, okay, I'm just going to be okay for 5 minutes. Keep doing it because, you did not fight through whatever trauma you were in to give up now. You did not.
right.
You did not survive, particularly burns, to give up now. So remember that. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a
One
time.
bite at a time.
That's all.
I love it. I went to this, I guess, seminar, this event on Wednesday night, and Rev Run was there. And he dropped so many jewels, but one thing that really stuck with me, he said, "Listen, we're all gonna go through dark times." He said, "But I assure you of this, the light will always come if you hang in there." And it just
Always
touched my, yes, touched it touched my soul so much because I was like,
felt.
it's so true, right?
I had a
I think sometimes if we stay in a dark place, like, we think the light is not going to shine, but it will. And, my thing is always, I had this thing, I said, your feelings, they need a home. So that's my thing to everybody. Don't keep it to yourself.
do not.
Do not
You
let it out, right?
talk to somebody or even write what?
Write it out.
Write out. I do mine publicly in the blog. I'm telling my story slowly. And then I'm going to change it to just how I'm feeling that day. But it really helps. And it's one of the things that like a therapist tells you, right? And you're like, no, okay, right? Let me, but I'm a person. I'm telling you that if you don't have anyone that you want to tell it to, that you want to verbalize it to, write it down. If you really don't want to write it down, go for a walk and talk to God.
Yes,
Do that.
yes, it
uh,
helped
Outside.
during, yes, during
Like,
the pandemic. When we was on lockdown, I started walking like outside. The only thing that stopped me, I told my friends this all the time. One time I ran into this deer and I was like, okay, that panic, I panicked, okay, because I ran across the street, the deer ran after me. I was like, I can't do this, right? And then another time I ran into a fox. I was like, okay, I'm done. But
okay,
I,
so
I
you're not
say all huh?
you're not a good person.
But I say all that to say that it was the most peaceful time of my life because I walked outside and I was talking to God,
Mhm.
and he answered me. And but that's the other thing I think people need to understand. It's not always going to be what you want to hear, but he will answer you. He will answer you.
It's always going to be what you want. Um, ah, no, not at all. I mean, there are a lot of things, honestly, guys, that I would like to be different. Um, but they're just so unimportant, really. They're just little things, right?
Right.
I mean, just little silly things. And just put it in perspective.
Yes.
Think about it as, I'm sorry about the talk. You see that? My marriage is good, except my husband had strict instructions. So see, we're real people. I'm not to see this dog or hear sound, but it's okay. That's one of those things. I'm not going to sweat that. It's no big deal, guys. But
Right.
all the things, most of the things that you're really sweating, think about them and think about, is it really that important? Does it matter? Will it
Right.
matter 10 years from now? I'm sure you've heard that. Will it matter 10 years from now? If the answer is no,
Even five, right?
if the answer is no,
Yeah.
forget
Will it matter tomorrow? Right. It's
forget
like,
it.
yeah, forget about it. Let me tell you, it has been an absolute pleasure having this conversation with you. Um, if I'm ever in your area, we have got to do lunch. I would love, love, love for us to get together. Um, Wishing you nothing but the best. I'm seeing great things for you. I can't wait to see, you blossom even more. And I can always say, she stopped by us here first.
Very,
She stopped by us.
very first.
Yeah.
How do I do this?
Tonya,
So,
it's been a
yeah,
pleasure. Thank you so much for chatting with us and just having this, amazing conversation.
thank
And
you.
I know you touched me, and I'm sure you touched everyone that was watching tonight. Be blessed.
I am blessed and favored. And so we're just,
Thank you.
thank you. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.
Lunch.
Yes. And don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.